you doing today?
Doing well. Doing well.
Are you ready to get into questions?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. Do you live in Grand Marais or in town?
I'm actually northwest of Grand Marais, up in the Maple Hill area.
Okay. So is that Arrowhead Electric's territory?
That's correct. It is Arrowhead Electric.
And this will hopefully help to encourage some other people to go solar soon.
Absolutely.
I
know there were quite a few people at the meeting. It was just about a year ago. It was like at the end of March.
Right.
And, so I imagine that there are a lot of people that are interested in doing it.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. We had one in Hovland, one in Grand Marais, and one in Birch Grove School. And all three of them did pretty well, 20 to 30 people, I think, at each one.
Yeah, I was impressed. A lot of good questions, and everybody trying to help everybody else out. That's what I like, that the people that already had solar were willing to answer questions that we had, and as well as the people from Real Solar that were there. So.
Right. Yeah, it's a big help. So thank you very much for doing the interview with us. It's nice for people to hear from people in their own community how things are going for them.
Right.
Okay. So is your system on grid or off grid?
We're an on grid system.
Okay. And you don't have battery backup, I'm guessing?
No, we don't have any battery storage. Kind of our system is we have the solar, and then we have off-peak electric. And between the two, that's the way for our particular site we can be most efficient.
Okay. Are your panels up on the roof, or are they down on the ground?
They are actually up on my garage or my pole barn.
Okay.
And when they came out to do the site visit, and they actually came out a couple different times, we looked at the possibility of doing it on the house, doing it on the garage, and doing it out in kind of a field that's behind our house. And the field behind our house was really wet, and it's kind of swampy, and that was determined not to be a real easy installation. And to put it on the house, we would have had to take out more trees, but we have a big firewise area surrounding both the house and the pole barn, and the pole barn turned out to be the best spot to put it.
Okay, great. What year was that system put in?
It was actually put in last fall, very late last fall.
Okay.
Like in November.
Fantastic. Do you know the brand of the panels that they used?
We have a Enphase microinverter, and then the Halene modules.
Okay.
And we've got 39 of those. They're like 290 watt modules. So 39 panels.
Wow.
It's a big system, yeah.
Yeah. What's the total kilowatts on that?
I want to say it's like 11 and a half.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a nice sized system. Do you know the approximate percentage of your home's energy usage that's produced by it?
Right now, I couldn't really tell you, because it actually started. It was commissioned in early February, and so we've just had a couple of months with it.
Oh wow!
But I was really encouraged that we got the March printout, and like our carbon offset was the equivalent of 6 trees and saved 486 pounds of carbon from going into the atmosphere. So that was really encouraging. So it'll be fun to be able to look at it over a year and see exactly what it does.
Okay, and you've got the microinverters, you said.
That's correct.
Which company handled your installation for you?
Real Solar. They're out of Bacchus, Minnesota.
Right.
And they did a really nice job.
Good.
They came out, they did couple of different site assessments. One the weekend that you had the presentation here in Cook County, and then we had a lot of emails and phone calls back and forth, and then they came out for a more in-depth site assessment prior to our installation, like I said, which was in November.
Good. So you were pretty happy with the site assessment and everything?
I was really happy with Real Solar, and in fact have already referred them to a couple of friends of ours who are thinking of having a solar installation put in.
Fantastic. Yeah, they seem to be having a little bit of internal troubles last year, but they've had a great reputation, and I've had only heard good things before that. So.
Well, and they have gotten back to us anytime we had a question or when we were trying to get the unit commissioned by Arrowhead. I mean, they follow up with us. They check to make sure we're happy with it. They check to make sure we're checking on a monthly basis to see our report, what it prints out, how we can look at it, all the different tools and options. So I'm really pleased with their follow-through.
Fantastic. So you'd use them again if you had another installation to do?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Would you be willing to share the total cost of the system with us?
It was about $44,000, but we wound up already getting the rebate through our federal taxes for like $10,000, and then next year we get another $7,000 back on our taxes. So it's nice to be able to get that back in a quick fashion. Right.
Yeah, I spoke with someone who they said that their income wasn't high enough. It took them 5 or 6 years before they had it all back. But yeah, it's nice to be able to wrap that up quickly.
Yeah, well, I certainly, I got a third of the cost of the system back. I'll have it by the second year, and then as far as the payback for the initial cost with all the savings on electricity, we're calculating about 10 years on the system.
A 10-year payback? Okay, great.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, that's a really nice period. And have you had any maintenance? Probably not at all. It's pretty new.
None at all. I called them one day. My husband and I looked out, and a couple of the panels looked cloudy, and I checked the energy usage on Enlighten, which is the system we use to follow our generation, and they checked things, and everything was fine, and they explained that occasionally panels will look a little different. It doesn't mean necessarily that they aren't functioning. And I'd say the only thing that has been a little bit of a challenge is clearing the panels when it snows.
Sure.
We wound up, they gave us a really nice tool to use, but our pole barn is really large. And so that southwest side of the pole barn, we kept trying different kinds of tools. We went on the internet to look, and we have 3 different tools that we use to clear the snow off, and 3 ladders that are up, 2 that are against the pole barn, 1 that's out in the yard, and it works really well. But it took us a while, about a third of the winter to kind of figure out how to do it. A little bit of trial and error there.
Sure, yeah. I've been thinking about that some with another person who has solar, and we've been discussing some options. One thing that we were curious to try was the roof heat tape along the bottom edge of the panel frames, so it could transfer up through the aluminum frame and hopefully get them to clear a little quicker. But we haven't tried that out yet.
Well, you've given me an idea to try for next year, so that's great.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's something you could turn on and off, only plug it in when they're covered, kind of thing.
Right.
Were there any home efficiency improvements that Real suggested?
Actually not, because we had CCLEP come out. We actually had Mike Senti come out a couple of years ago and had a really thorough home energy audit.
Great.
And there were very few things at that time that needed to be done, and I think we've got all of them taken care of with the exception of one item, which we'll do hopefully this summer. So, we're pretty tight and pretty efficient now, and we're feeling pretty good about that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've gone on quite a few of the assessments that Mike does in the last couple of years, and it's a nice service. It does find some good problems for people to take a look at.
Well, what was interesting is we had been very energy conscious, and we thought we had done everything, put foam around outlets and things of that nature. We had the 3M plastic plus pretty efficient glass on our windows. We had done all these things, but one of the things he found was that the area above the canned lights in our ceiling had never been insulated, and we were unaware of that.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a nice, piece right there for us to find out.
Yeah, there's some little hidden areas like that they don't pop out till you push on them just right.
Right.
Yeah. Can lights can definitely be a problem. So how did the interconnection process with Arrowhead go for you? Was that pretty easy?
It was challenging in a way that I think because Real Solar isn't here locally, it was difficult to get everybody on the same page, and that's why the commissioning took a long time, because we thought it was commissioned, and then we called Arrowhead, and they said, no, it wasn't commissioned. We don't know that you even have solar, and so it was communication back and forth. So the one thing I'd suggest, whatever company somebody chooses for their solar installation, is to make sure that there's good communication between the installer and the electric provider.
Fantastic. Good suggestion. Yeah, I think I remember Yusuf talking about that. He just recently left Arrowhead. He's doing work with electric car infrastructure development, but he's still living in the area, but he's doing the work remotely. And he was saying that there were a couple of issues like that, where some people they just didn't realize that they had to communicate with Arrowhead, and their installer hadn't. And
I think too, it's different in Cook County. I know that Real Solar indicated that they've had a relationship when they've worked like in the Bacchus area with the electric provider, but this is the first time, so they're finding out how Arrowhead works, how Grand Marais PUC works, and every organization is going to have a different process.
Right. So what would you say were your main factors in your decision to go solar?
Well, we just wanted to do our part for the planet, and although because we're both seniors and of retirement age, it was kind of a stretch for us, but in the end, we wanted to do the right thing. So we feel really good about our decision. And we feel like, I'm in education, I feel like it was really important for me to model that for my students that I work with and for the community that I'm in.
Great.
I've been up working primarily in the middle school and high school in Cook County for the last 7 years.
Okay. I've definitely seen you around town a few times, but we've never officially met before. Well, I really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
The one thing that that would help too is for people that are getting the system, it gives them an idea. Everybody knows what solar panels look like, but they don't know about all the electrical boxes, the hookups, things like that you need to have. And so that piece in itself would be really important.
Right. Yep. Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. Have a great weekend.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.